Welcome everyone to the 7th episode of CryptoCurrently. I'm your host Delkaz, and we are joined tonight by BlackBuffett, and we are talking about his project, brand new project, Plethora Moons. So thank you for joining me tonight, BlackBuffett.
Thank you for having me, man.
Of course, thank you. So let's get right into it. Give me a little background of yourself. How did you get into the crypto space, and what led you up to this point?
I've been in crypto for a while since I think I got in 2014. I've been doing like Bitcoin and just dabbling in the. I've always been a gamer. I've always been on the computer. I've always been like a nerd. So
Very
I've
cool.
always loved to like hang out with like people online and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
one of those things I was one of those guys that was always trying to make money with PayPal, eBay. So I was always selling stuff online
eBay.
back when they
Uh,
first came out with PayPal. I was like, finally we got an online bank, you know what I mean? Like, so I was definitely one of Elon Musk's first like target markets, the guys who were trying to sell things online. Thing was is that I got into crypto because, as time went on, PayPal wasn't actually like it wasn't doing us any good because they were the judge, the juror, and the executioner to be exact. You know what I
yep.
mean? So you'd have guys that are trying to sell things online, and then here comes PayPal shutting you down, or they want to limit your account.
I,
And we were just like, can there be another PayPal? Can we have a competition to PayPal? And like, it's funny because up until this day, there still isn't
no,
a real competition to PayPal, like online, like the way that PayPal was set up.
it was
And
interesting too. Actually, just like 3 months ago, they shut down my account. Absolutely no reason. They won't tell me why. I didn't do anything shady. It was, I don't know what they shut it down for, but you can't even find out why. So I agree. There's no, yeah, like you said, judge, jury, executioner.
And so, I mean, dealing with that, I mean, I'm like, because I grew up in Detroit, man, and I was, cars, Car City, racing. I got to the point where I was tearing up my cars, so I was selling parts online. It
Okay.
was easier than it was a good way when I was in college. I went to Lawrence Tech for computer science, and it was a way for me to afford school was to buy a car that was used, a parts car, and then just break it all the way down in my garage and then sell the parts on eBay, right?
Wow, that's
So
cool.
I was making money online like back then, like you know what I mean, doing that, selling catalytic converters, just everything that was on the car, like just completely take it all the way apart. So I have been doing that for a while. Um, I totally missed out. Like the funny story was that Bitcoin. I heard it on the radio. Our radio station played a video where they was talking about it, and they were laughing about a guy who tried to sell them some Bitcoin for $1, and they were saying like they claimed that this is going to replace the dollar, and this was way back, like it had to be like 2014 or 2013. It was earlier on.
Right.
And I was just like, it were like I wouldn't even spend $100 on that, and I remember them saying that specifically, like I would even spend 100 on that, and I was thinking like, yeah, I was like maybe I should just get $100 worth just in case this thing is something. But the thing was is I don't know, I was driving, I didn't have time to write it down, and I didn't even think to go back and look. But that was my first introduction
hmm
to Bitcoin. Unfortunately, I could have got it for $1 had I have looked into it a little harder.
Yep.
Um, but like you fast forward, and then finally the next time I saw it, it was $400, and I was like, wow. And at this point, I was living out of state. I think at this point I was selling things online still, but it was different stuff. I was selling digital things like Starbucks cards and just different, just selling things. And you could buy them online, but you had to buy them with Bitcoin, right?
Okay.
So you had to get your hands on some Bitcoin one way or the other. Man, I would go to the bank, slide some money into somebody's account, and then Bitcoin just appears in my wallet, right?
Uh-huh.
And it was shady. It was super sketchy back then. That was the only way we could get our hands on it. That's how I got into crypto, man. To be honest, I've been in it ever since then. I didn't buy a lot of it.
Yeah.
It was a lot at that time. I was doing pretty bad. It was a recession. It was just kind of like how we are right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you know what I mean? So it was just not, it was not in my intention to stack sats. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to do
Right.
that.
It
I
was
was
just
more like,
being used to how it was used.
yeah, just like money. If I put 400 in there, I expect 400 to be in there. I put 400 in there. Next time I look, it's 360, and I'm like, what? I need that $40. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I was scared of Bitcoin. I was like, man. Of course, you'd see it also go to 450, and then it's like, well, wait a minute, it goes both ways. It goes down and it goes up. And I seen it shoot to 1,200 to 6,000 to 10,000, and I was in awe. Like, oh my god, why didn't I like hold more of these? Like, what was I doing? I thought it would always come back down, that I could buy back in, but it just went to 20K, and I
Yep.
was just like, oh my god, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
oh
I definitely have been there. I think a lot of people that have been in crypto for a while at least knew about it. Were like, oh, I wish I would have just forgot about it for a while. Like bought 100 and then just
yeah.
left it. You know?
So I mean, I saw it and I said, "What is this about?" At the time I was in school for computer science. I wanted to get a job at Google or whatever somewhere.
Hmm.
Always wanted to be doing video games or wanted to do like some type of tech, or either gaming or apps or something. I wanted to do something new,
Yeah.
but I didn't know what it was. I just wanted to do something. And it's funny because at the time I just didn't know. You don't know what you want to do with yourself when you're in college. You're bouncing around. You know what I mean? And I was out of college, but I was still trying to figure out where am I going? I'm in debt. I got
Hmm.
bills. What do I do? So yeah, at some point, I eventually got into the gaming scene. I wanted to build games. I got into developing gaming apps for Frozen 9 is the name of my company. We're releasing games on Apple and Android just for fun. We were trying to do like the pay per clicks, the click,
Yeah.
and the in-game items, selling
Hmm.
in-game items, trying to make a game and trying to fund it without having an audience or without having like, and you
Bunch of
couldn't do
funding
that. You know what I
behind it,
mean?
right? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of difficult, especially with like Apple and Android charging like all these fees,
Hmm.
you know,
They take
and yearly
30% off
fees
the
on top
top,
of
right?
that.
And then yeah.
And if you don't have enough games, it's kind of like making music because you gotta keep making stuff until you hit it, until you get a hit, and you can't afford to just keep making stuff because it takes time,
Right.
and you just don't know when you're gonna get this hit, and then you gotta leave it in the store forever, and then it costs you to leave it in the store. So there's so many things that was wrong with that business model for any new game developer, anybody who wanted to get into that I got pushed out to space. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Because it was impossible for me to stay in there too. So I mean, I ended up getting into digital marketing for music. I ended up doing that because I used to do
Okay.
music, but I did digital marketing. That took off. I did pretty good with that, and I always wanted to do stocks and trade. So I was like, "Wow, this is doing well. Let me take the money from this and try to learn how to trade and figure out trading options. Let me just figure it out."
See how it goes.
And
Yeah.
while I was figuring it out, I would run into people who were doing forex, and I would be like, I don't like forex because it's just like I just didn't like it. I like stocks, I like tech. But then I was like, wait a minute, what about crypto? Right? Like
Hmm.
you could trade crypto. So man, you look at the stock market, you notice that everything's already up. You know, like I started studying Warren Buffett because it seemed like he was just giving me really good insight on what to do, and it was always about buying things undervalued. And when I look at like what is undervalued right now, and it was like nothing. So it was like
Yeah.
Bitcoin's undervalued. You know what I mean? Like
Uh-huh.
all these coins were undervalued. I'm like, well, wait a minute, but everyone's saying stay away from them. They're dangerous. They're scams or this or that. So I was like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna listen. I think I'm gonna pay more attention to this space. Maybe this is the thing I need. So that's kind of how I got my footing into crypto, man.
Very cool. So yeah, basically, I mean, you're always in the computer science area, computer gaming, and then yeah, kind of heard about crypto, and eventually decided to get your toes in with the trading, and now fast forward to today, and you've decided to launch your own project,
Yep.
and so it's different than any of the projects that I've featured so far. So it's kind of like a more a Web3 security. You like kind of keep watching out for the people, right? Giving some alpha calls and different things like that, but more focused on what not to mint, I think, than you know. So delve into that a little bit and
Okay.
why you feel and I know you don't want to give everything away, and people don't want to. It's tough to you don't want to promise roadmaps and all that because um, undersell, over deliver, right? Especially in this,
Exactly.
especially in this time when there's been so
Especially
many
right now.
rogues and like, and the market's down. So yeah, so what you can tell us, like, first off, why did you want to do this project, and what is it to you? Yeah.
So originally, I've tried to do. I've been on NFT. I've gotten into NFTs like 2021, actually 2020, but it was like Rarible, and it was like
Yep.
the fungible, non fungible tokens. I'm just gonna say it like that. The ones where it was like one of 100,000, and it was like that's still fungible, dude. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
all of them are. So I lost a lot of money with that, but I got back in October of 2021. Around that time, I started to pay attention to the like the one of ones,
Mhm.
and I was like, this is pretty cool. So I think I ended up trying to do marketing for a couple projects. I hopped on. I was like the community leader in the discords, and I was hanging out and helping out. And these
Yep.
guys either ended up making good money or they ended up rugging. And
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
understand what was going on with the rugging because I got rugged too. You know what I mean? And like we got a community to serve here,
Right.
and we're not serving them. I've had like all these situations where I'm using my real name, like I'm using my name, but you're hiding behind this PFP.
Right.
But I thought all these people trusted you. They must have thought they knew who you were. I didn't know who you were, but it seemed like you had a community behind you.
Mhm.
So I didn't understand that that was bad, like that I needed these guys to be doxxed or that I needed to be seeing them on camera. Um, I mean, even though I have seen them on camera, but I just didn't know who they were still.
Right.
Like, I still didn't know who this guy was.
Yeah. No, I have
Um,
a similar. I've done community management and in for different projects as well, and even I didn't put out my real name in a lot of them, but my online name is my online crypto name. That's
yeah.
what people know you by, even if it's not your real name. So you're putting your name on that project, even because you believe in it, even you believe in whatever the story or what it is, and you kind of trust these people. You built up a rapport, you've talked and worked with them, and then something goes bad, whether they were planning to rug the whole time or they just couldn't deliver. I mean, it's hard to tell sometimes, but I completely understand where you're coming from there.
Yeah, so you wouldn't really know until they got the mint through because they'll play all the roles and be as nice as they got to be until the mint day.
Yeah,
Mint day comes around, money is made, and you're like, okay, where's my mod money? You know what I mean? Where's my
right,
and then that's when you get rugged or they tell you, oh, whatever, right? Or they'll pay you, but they don't actually intend to do the project that they said that they were going to do. And if I even sniff even a moment of that, I'm thinking like, but I'm the community leader.
right.
And it's like, who do I owe it to? You or them to hurry up and like tell what's going on.
Yeah,
So it put me in like an awkward situation where even if we had a great relationship, it's like me and you, and then it's me and 2,000 people in here.
right.
And for me, I choose the 2,000 people because I'm like, I got to make sure these people understand that this is getting ready to go bad, right?
Mhm.
Um, so obviously, I would choose to just like air out and be like, look, this guy's on some BS. I pick one or two of the other people in the community and let them know what's going on. But what happens to me after this is that like, people don't know who's who and what's what at this time. They don't know what you were doing. They don't know. So, but for me, all you have is your reputation, bro. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and if I'm just trying to get into the NFT space, I don't want it to end right when I got in it. You know what I mean? Like I just got in here and now you're trying to use my name, you're trying to end it. So I thought about that and I had a heart to heart. I made another page real quick and I got everybody over to the next page. And I was able to like kind of like call like a reverse rug. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
reverse rug the project
Yeah.
and to taking over it and kind of like making it where this guy won't rug it and then give the project to the community and then make it where it's their project. It's still technically a rug, but it's not as bad now that someone did something about something, right?
Yeah. You kind of flipped it, and so it live on and do something with it. That happened to
That's
one that I was in. It didn't end up really going anywhere, but there was, someone that took it over and tried to make it
yeah.
work, right? At least try to
You
breathe
try.
some
You can
life
only
into
do.
it.
You can only try.
Yeah.
These guys took all the money and ran, so there's no funding to
Right.
do anything with.
Right. It's
But
so
it's
sad
in your
because,
heart that you want to do. They can feel it in your heart, like he wants to help, but there's nothing he can do.
right.
So I spent the next 6 months trying to think, how did that even happen? How did we end up in this situation? Why did you take advantage of these people? I ended up watching as many other projects launch, and I just sit in the background watching like you said, they're either rugs or they're just really good projects. Even really good projects still ended up rugging. They sold out, they had a good thing going, and then they still ended up just disappearing. And it's like
Hmm.
what I've been in a lot of these projects. I ended up spending a couple $1,000s on these vampire NFTs. Can't remember OX Vampire, I think.
I remember
And
that.
I,
Yeah.
I believed in it. It's a good project. It was huge, right? These guys even gave away Harley Davidsons. And then so it's like it gotta be real,
Yeah.
right? But then after so long, they disappear and now the project's dead. And it's like, for what? So you can't really help those situations. I think that's where the government steps in. But as far as for like smaller stuff that are like free mints and just different projects that are smaller, I started to think to myself, man, we need a project that actually like comes in and tries to like show you or protect you from the smaller scams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's easy to get caught up in a big scam because these guys really have a lot of money, and that's why that's above our head. So I'm not even going to try to go after those guys. But I look at it this way: the government can't necessarily go after the guys who are just rugging you for 1,500 or rugging you for 20 grand. Like those guys can kind of get away with it because those projects are smaller in nature, and it's just not enough people complaining.
Right.
It's not enough people who can file reports.
Yeah.
So it would get overshadowed by a bigger project, right? So I was like, we need something not just for that, but then we also need something for like soccer moms and family members who just want to get into the space, right? I've gotten into a project where I jumped in it. You're minting things and you don't realize what if you get drained? Like I minted something. I was
Yeah.
getting ready to mint something because it was a little bit of FOMO. Everyone's like, "Yo, go get this! Go 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 go
Right.
go 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 go!"
It always happens.
And then yeah, like, and then my buddy went in right before I did, and then he messaged me like, "No, no, 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 no." And I'm like, "What? I just got my wallet drained, bro."
Ooh.
And I'm like, "Oh my god, I was just about to jump in there."
Yeah.
He said, "All his ETH, all his NFTs are gone," and you know, it's just crazy because it's like, how did that happen? You
Hmm.
know, it was FOMO, right? It was speed. It was
It's the
not paying
urgency.
attention.
They create the urgency. You got to do it now. Got to do it now. And then you just, yeah, like you said, FOMO, freak out. Like, okay, do it, go. And it's interesting how complex and sophisticated a lot of these scams have gotten now. It's not even just like the click to mint, but they'll trick you into all these different things that's actually
Oh yeah,
very complex these days. And especially for someone like just getting into the space or that want to get their toes wet a little bit and don't know what's going on, like instantly all your stuff could be gone from free mint.
from a free mint. You thought you're getting something for free, and actually you're giving them your stuff for free.
Yeah.
So not only just that, but then I ended up stumbling across several times. I was on Google searching for a product I know of. Zerion was one of them, right? I was looking for Zerion because I like how they got a feature that just round up all the value of all your NFTs at once. So I go to Google, I search it, I'm like, let me click on it. At the very top, there's a Zerion ad that's going. It's like a link at the top.
Hmm.
I see it, and then there's also the Zerion, the regular one, right up under it. But I was getting ready to pick the top one because it's the closest from where my finger is at. I'm just gonna click that one.
Right.
I actually click it, and it pops up, and I'm on the phone. I'm major distracted. I'm fully distracted. I go to sign into my MetaMask, but I noticed something weird. It was flickering. It was doing something weird, like
Mm.
when it was trying to come on. And then I also noticed that when I got in there, it started asking me to put in it said something about we couldn't authenticate you, blah 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 blah. Can you put in your secret key? You know what I mean, so that we can
Ooh.
make So you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, wait, hold on now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It made me wait, hold on. You hold on, right? Because wait a minute, this is different. Like I gotta pay attention. And then I realized, like, dang, they could have got me. I looked at the website and I realized, like, this isn't the original Zerion site. I went to the other link and clicked it and compared it. And
hmm
it's like, these are two different sites. This is a phishing site.
the
And
ad site that was paid for was put up by scammers to look, and it probably looked almost exactly the same.
it looked exactly the same
Yeah.
in every possible way. It was like a mirror. And for me, it was just like, why is Google letting them buy ads to scam me?
Right.
And I'm pretty sure if I would have gave them that thing, they got 20 guys on the other end that's like, yes, and they're just going in and grabbing all your stuff. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean?
Uh-huh.
So that one almost got me. I've gotten, I've dodged the bullet so many times, but like I said, like I've been doing computers for so long that it's kind of hard to get me to fall for anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think about like, but then like a cousin or auntie or just a regular person, they're just thinking that, hey, I'm just gonna go on this innocent site
Yeah.
and go buy
It's like
buy an
shopping on
NFT.
Amazon, right? You know, like not
Yeah.
not
What if you
quite.
try and buy your son a birthday gift, right? And he wanted an NFT, and you're like a grandfather or whatever, and you got 8 ETH in there, and you don't know any, you just that's just so you went to buy it, and now all your ETH is gone.
Yeah.
You can't, you know what I mean? So I got to thinking about that and saying, man, there just really needs to be this kind of project, especially right now in the bear market. All the building that's going on, all the devs, everyone's trying to make these cash grab projects where you make this project, you just try and make money, and then you say, okay, once I get the money, I'll build a game, or
hmm
I'll build the metaverse, or I'll build the world, whatever you're gonna
Right.
do after I get the money.
Right.
And I'm just like, well, because originally this was all crowdfunded. Like you're hoping that people believe in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if people want to believe in something, they should believe in something that they really believe in, right? It should be something that they want to make change with. So I thought about it and we were just like, maybe we should try to start a new meta. Maybe we should try to start a new movement, making projects that are security based NFT project, software based NFT project, where the holder of the NFT has access to the software, has access to the tools, doesn't have to pay a monthly fee. Because like if you were to go to Norton antivirus, Web2, you got to pay a fee.
Right.
You get a VPN service, you got to pay a fee. Even if it's a yearly fee, there's a fee.
Yeah.
So we're trying to look at possibly having different business models that work with the software, like the lifetime pass, or like a pass that allows you to keep your access because there's only so many of these passes. But the royalties being generated from the pass kind of makes up the difference between the monthly fees,
hmm
right?
hmm
So it's like that's a great business model. And then why wouldn't software companies start doing this for Web3? Because
Interesting.
right
Yeah.
now, we don't exactly have viruses in Web3, but we got hackers.
Yep. So they're coming
So it's like
eventually.
they're coming.
Yeah.
So you're gonna need someone who's monitoring them, and or at least trying to monitor the smart contract or monitor your wallet or something. So we were trying to make some type of tech, some type of software that can try to monitor before you make a mistake. And I'm thinking of it like a life jacket, right? You don't expect to end out in the water. You're on the boat. You figure if you go out there, you're expecting to get back on dry land.
Right.
But if you get capsized by a rogue wave, you need that life jacket, right? If
Yep.
something bad happens, you need something that's there. So we don't want to guarantee that it'll always be flawless, because what we're trying to do is beat another bot to the punch.
hmm
So if you sign into a Drain Wallet smart contract, we wanted to have something that tries to drain your wallet for you and move your funds before they can get to it, right?
Interesting. Interesting. So it's gonna trigger. It's gonna see the trigger and then move it before it can. Interesting. That's a good
Try to
idea.
do the
That's cool. Yeah.
transaction first.
hmm
Try to beat the scam bot, because once you put in a transaction, it has to wait,
Yeah.
right?
hmm
It has to wait to and then it'll just get canceled because the funds are gone.
Right.
So if you see an approve all, if you're making a mistake and signing in an approve all, and then we kind of already had this happen with other users, then we would be trying to say, hey, hurry up and move the ETH to a wallet you chose to a different wallet,
Right.
right? And by the time their thing tried to drain you, there's nothing there,
Yeah.
hopefully, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that could buy you some time, if anything. If anything else, it can buy you some time. Um,
Yeah, and I'm
there
thinking
may
like
not be.
on top of that, like if you build this system, the first time it happens to someone, if it's all linked, right, it's gonna block it. You're gonna have the blocker for the next person and whoever keeps going. So that could be, yeah, that's a very good idea.
We might have one person who got drained,
Yeah.
but now we saw it, and now we were able to stop it. This many people on the mint
Right.
on the project that was depending on if they were using the software or not,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So if they were using it, then they got protected. So like the 5,000 people go and get drained, but the people who were using this software didn't. Type situation, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that would
Yeah.
be beautiful. So that's just one of the things I'm working on. The other thing is a capture bot for smart contracts to try to stop front running bots.
Okay.
So when you try to, mint a project, we want to have something that if people come in there, it automatically like questions you and solves a puzzle, so that bots, smart contract bots, can't think like that. They're not going to know that there's a puzzle here that they got to solve, or they can't mint, or they can't buy the coin. So the purpose of this project is to work with many devs that have developed security, because a lot of these devs, either they have something like that but they haven't marketed it,
Mhm.
or they have something like this but like they don't have the audience or customer base for it, or in this case they might have came up with it for Ethereum but now we want to put it on Solana, and so we could have another set of devs come and duplicate that and move it to Solana as well. Now we have two blockchains. And if more devs want to come and try to move that to every other blockchain, that could be helpful, right? So the purpose of the project is to provide tools, not only for the trading people, like the people who I call it like the offense, the guys who are trying to make money, who are just DJing it in, jumping in projects. That's all I do. I just get up. Hey, I just want to hop in and get some money, man.
Yeah.
Just get this money, hopping in projects. But then what about that guy that hops in the wrong project? Then you want that defense to kick right in and then be like, up, boom, stops you from losing your money.
Yeah.
That's just about as important as you trying to make money, is to not lose it in the first place, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost more important.
I mean, you got the Bored Apes. There's over 140 Bored Apes that are tied up now in investigations
Mhm.
on OpenSea. I don't know how much that number is worth now. I don't know if you times what the floor might have been. That's a lot of money tied up.
It was a
It
lot of
could have
money,
been
yeah.
prevented.
Mhm.
And so, kind of like if we could have it where, you know, other smart contract devs start using these tools, or if people from the community start demanding that their projects use tools similar to these to make the space a better place. That's all our point is, to try to build this, have a project that does well in this particular format so that we can have some derivatives. People come in and say, hey, I want to make a project like Plethora Moons. I want to make a project that we just focus on security. Because if we don't police this space, no one else will. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, the government's only going to come after the $1 million projects and up. They're not going to really be able to, they're not coming after the $25,000 rug
Right.
and all that.
Right.
Um, they'll probably eventually come after those guys, but I
Even
mean,
even if they do, I mean, it's more in court fees than the whole thing is worth, right? So it's yeah.
you need a smaller private security firm for that. That's the way it works now with Web 2.
Right.
So you need a smaller, everything that's on Web 2 needs to be on Web 3. And I figured, why not an NFT project with some great art that has some nice features that gives you access to some tools for both, you know what I mean? And so it's going to take some time to build some of these things. Some of it's already ready. I got another dev who was working on the capture thing, so we're going to incorporate that into the project.
Cool.
And there's some more devs building some other things, so we're going to start bringing all these things. There's a lot of these security tools that exist, but no one's heard of them, and no one knew that they were there.
Yeah.
So we
That's
figure we could partner with these devs and bring them on out. Let's come
yeah.
on out. Let's drop them.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, I've been in crypto for a while and doing podcasts, and doing crypto gaming, and in the whole like got into NFTs a few years ago, and I've never heard of a Web3 software company or on even on top of security, right?
Yeah.
So I think is a great idea, and to fund using Web3 the way that all these other projects are trying to fund themselves,
Yeah.
right? It's a brilliant idea because you already have the people that are in Web3 and want to do it this way, right? And of course, this software is going to save them. Why wouldn't you want to put some of your resources into this? So yeah, that's I love the idea.
So we made 555 NFT project. One reason why we made the mint so small is because we only wanted a core group to come in and like be testing everything, and also we kind of wanted to build that relationship with a smaller group
Yeah,
and build trust, build the trust. It's harder to do that when you got 10,000.
right.
It's harder to do that.
It's hard to manage
Secondly,
a community that big. Like it
yeah, it's
just
just
gets
too big.
unruly. Yeah.
It's because as I've been, like I said, I've been community leader, and anytime the project was too big, we needed multiple mods. It's
Yep.
going to cost you more money to control the room than anything else. We've been and spent all our money just trying to keep the Discord at bay than developing things. So I was like, let's just come out with a smaller project. It's cute. You can actually keep adding NFT launches after that if it
Right.
does well. We got
Yeah.
your OG. You could come with your OG ETH. We can offer staking. We can offer things that give incentives to the first holders.
Yep.
And then if we want, we can also drop the 555 on Solana. And then that's also an OG, but that's for that blockchain.
Right.
And then as it gets bigger and bigger, we can then say, let's do a version 2 now, where it's more now. We might do a 5,000 piece, but it doesn't necessarily have the staking, or it might not give you all the same tools, but it'll have something. So
Exactly. Yeah.
you can kind of tier the software. And then some of this stuff mostly might just be free, right? Because it's for security, and we don't necessarily want to charge
Mhm.
people. We want everyone to be secure. So in that case, we have the free section on the Discord where we want people to just join if they just like the project. You don't have to buy the NFT. You could come in and just be a part of that. And I'm in both sides. I'm in the paid. I'm in the
Yeah.
free. But I figured if you're in there, you're going to get alerted that something's happening. I'm not going to just let you. Oh, you're not on the paid side, so you can't
Right.
know. You should have paid. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't want to. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you're there
But
to save everyone. And I think at the end of the day, people realize like if you want this service, some people have to pay. If you can't, that's okay. But some
exactly.
people can and will be more than happy to put some of their funds into it. Very cool. So I gotta ask. Okay, it's kind of a side. Where was the inspiration for the name Plethora Moons? Where did that come from? Because I like the name, but I wonder is it from I know you're into gaming. Is it from a game? Is it from where it's just
Okay. So it's kind of funny because I've always been told I was pretty good with names. Originally, the name of the project originally was Moon Missions, right? But originally, the project was about a bot that I was building a configuration for trading bot. So
okay?
that's another one of the things we're putting on the offensive side is a bot that'll help people. The problem I was having was that I was doing signals and alerts, and I would tell people, "Hey, I just bought Bitcoin right here, right now." But then by the time they looked in Telegram and looked at the call page, it had been 2 hours ago, right? And
Okay.
if they buy in, it's dumping already.
Right.
Right? It was actually too late, or so they couldn't do everything in real time. So I said, well, we need something where everyone's in the same time frame I'm in. So if I trade, you trade, and if I sold, you sold. Not like, hey everybody, I just hopped out of Aave, and then like 2 days later, oh, I should have sold Aave, like, and it just crashed, bro. Sorry, you know what I mean? Now
Right. Yeah.
it's nothing. So the bot would have been the bot originally was how I came with. We started with the bot that was just a trading bot. I said I haven't seen a trading bot NFT project, but as I got more into this, I started to feel like, wait a minute, there needs to be. I want to give it the ultimate utility. You know what I mean? So when the name plethora, I just know that that's like the technical word for a lot.
Mhm.
And I knew that moons, we like mooning. We always want to moon.
Yep. Everyone
And
wants
I
to
was
go to the
like,
moon.
I want a lot of moons, man. I want to moon a lot. I want to moon all the time. I just want to always moon. So it was just like, I just wanted it to sound spacey. I wanted to sound like some SpaceX type name,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I just thought it sounded cool.
I agree with you. I was wondering where that came from. So I definitely like the name. I saw. So you just had the reveal
Yeah.
on your NFT. I want to flash that up. What can you talk about
Okay.
that? Where is that from? Who designed that? Or
Okay. Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to say was that we built a game. We're in the process of building a gaming metaverse,
oh, okay.
and this gaming metaverse is it's called Exotic Metaverse. And the Exotic Metaverse is basically I was trying to build this to also fix that other problem I was having with not being able to release games because I have to go through so many permissions and this and that and the other, and I got to pay and this and that and the other. So we wanted to come out with like a gaming metaverse where you in the metaverse and you just can switch into different games you want to play, and from different developers who could just launch it and it can just live on the blockchain and
I
doesn't have to keep making payments, you know,
yeah.
to stay up there like Apple and
I love
Android.
that idea. I was because I have done a lot of gaming, and I was thinking like, why someone needs to make. Remember, I don't. Do you remember GameSpy way back in the
Yeah,
day? Quake, like something like that, where you just launch into the different things. Um,
yeah.
yeah.
So we were thinking about making like a Steam style metaverse
Okay.
where you can attach it to anyone else's metaverse, and it would be like a hub that you just bounce from game to game or whatever. Because in the future I don't see metaverses just being these closed environments. I feel like it's going to be like a loading screen,
Yep.
like a lobby, like Dragon Ball Fighter Z, where you're just walking around and you can just pick where you want to go.
Yeah.
And so like the idea is that with Plethora Moons, I wanted to offer, so we're building an NFT marketplace and we needed to have an NFT for that marketplace. And we're integrating with Chainlink with the Exotic Metaverse. And so we wanted to offer something with a lot of utility, right? And it's something that would require, like in this case, if people needed to pay the monthly fees, they would use the token from the metaverse to pay those fees,
Mhm.
or they could just to get a bigger discount, or they can just pay with ETH or a stablecoin.
Right.
But obviously, if they had the NFT, they wouldn't have to necessarily pay if they had the NFT. And so the idea for like, you know, when we try to put it together is that Exotic Metaverse is a metaverse that's in a different galaxy. And so it was already a space galaxy metaverse because I was like, why do people keep making metaverses that are on Earth? Like we need to like I'm trying to get away from Earth. Like that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like I want to go into a wormhole and go into the black hole and come out on the other side and
Right.
there is Exotic. You know what I
I
mean?
feel like
A
yeah.
planet that you know what I mean?
I
So
agree. I think a lot of people are missing the idea behind metaverse and VR especially is like I don't want to like I'm already here. Like show me something different, right?
show
Like
me something new.
yeah. Yep.
I want something new.
I agree. Here, let me see if I can flash this up.
So I'm gonna
All right.
explain that to you
Yeah,
when you
so
pull this up. That's
so it's up,
the
so it's spinning
backstory.
there. So yeah, just to kind of describe this a little bit and what are we seeing?
So what you're seeing, if you're looking at like on the picture side, you're seeing like a cybernetic being that is an alien. That she's like it's like like a Dyson sphere, like you know what I mean. And it's just like all this technology is what it's trying to show. Like there's all kinds of technology in this picture, right?
Hmm.
And there's like a universe there and you're wondering like what is that, like it's just like a brand new place. You got to go see it, you got to go there. And this card is supposed to be your teleporter from Earth to the planet Exotic, and this is like your beta pass into the metaverse. So not only is this a Web3 security and it does all these things, but it's also your beta pass into the Exotic Metaverse. Once the Metaverse lobby opens, you're going to be able to use that. So a person would have it in their hand, they can put their thumb on it, the thing will come to life. It'll just do like the Matrix and turn you into water, and you just go through the teleporter and show up on the other side, right?
Awesome. Yeah.
So that's what the thumbprint thing is for on the back. And then if there's a tiger that looks like it's like different colors on the
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, I
That's
see
the
that the kind of a pink to purple.
yeah. Those are like gaming colors, right? And that's the Exotic logo, and that's for the beta pass. Just to let you know, anybody who's holding these NFTs will get a land drop in the future, right? So they'll get the land drop, and Anybody who, every time we have like some other perk that we add, it'll be added to the back of that card. So there's a little bit of empty space there. So if you claim the land will show up on the card, and then it would mean that that NFT had got the land, and then that way
Interesting.
you would know not to, you wouldn't buy that one, right? Because
Okay.
you wanted to, if you weren't trying to buy it and claim the land, and you know, so that's just something like if someone ever watches this, because we're never going to say that ever again. So that if you watch this video and you remember that, and then we come out with land, refer back to this video because you can go get you some land. That's like some alpha right there.
Very cool.
Um,
So you got, I
so
mean,
I think
you got a
hmm?
lot going on with, I mean, with all the different projects, and it's like 10 projects in one almost.
Yeah, trying to build on top of build on top of build, and then bring it together, become some type of ecosystem. And I think that the problem is that, like you said, it's the funding, right? You can
Yep.
never get funding. People look at your experience, they look at who you are, they judge you. You know, when you're doxxed, they can judge you more than if you're not, right? Like if
Hmm.
I just had a Bored Ape mutant, then and that was all I was, it'd be easier to get the funding because people don't have anything to go off of other than he can afford a mutant. He must be able to do this.
Right.
So the way we have to approach it, we have to approach it organically. No hype cycle, no no like bells and whistles,
Hmm.
no over the top roadmaps, no promises, no over the top stuff, but just results,
Yep.
just development results. The only thing we can do, and hope that people discover the project as it grows, just like
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
The
We
slow,
can't
the
do it
slow
any other
build and
way.
deliver, right?
Yeah,
I was talking about this with one of my other guests. Is you almost like a slow build is better for projects overall because I mean you see a lot of times the hype, everyone buys in, that goes up super high, but inevitably they're gonna drop. And once it does, where do you go, right? Because people at that point they see it go so high, and when it drops so far, they're very wary to get back in again. So when you're actually trying to build a prolonged project, that's not necessarily good. Yeah, you get a lot of funds right away, but then it goes to rock bottom, and then you're stuck with trying to having to do this project, deliver something with the funds and nothing else coming in, right? So I like the style of reaching 555 slower, like build that core community, and then build from there and show results. And people, when you start building these tools, people are going to see them. Hey, the first person gets saved, they're going to say, hey, Twitter, like I would have lost 10 F, and then people hear about it, the word of mouth. Like that's one thing in the crypto community. I feel like word of mouth is very strong.
the strongest.
Yeah, because the community is still very small.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of bad actors, but there's a lot of good people, and those good people are connected within it, right? They talk to
yeah,
each other, they know what's going on, and so yeah, it's all about the builders, the people they're building, those links that you make, the people that you maintain connections with, and then hopefully there's projects like yours, and just talking to your friends, you know what projects not to mint and which ones that are worth it, right?
yeah. And so like building a smaller community, we were trying to have something where like everyone's like a family
Hmm.
and you get to know each other, and then we share projects that we wouldn't want to scam each other on,
Yeah.
right? So if you're in the alpha group, you're in like an alpha group with 80,000 people. People are just posting, yo,
Yep.
let's go mint this.
Yeah.
The scammer is in there posting his too. You can't, and you don't know
Yeah.
who he is. So
At that point,
with it being a smaller group of holders, we got a little bit of KYC here to a certain extent because you couldn't have been in there without holding it. We knew what you posted, we knew what you said.
hmm
So it's easier to make someone accountable for saying, hey, everybody go mint this. And then we all get, if something happens. Because I can't imagine, I'm assuming that someone's going to probably want to test the software and slide some links up in there, right?
yeah,
Um, it's gonna happen.
yeah.
But it's gonna be nice that we, like I said, we trying to stop that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And even if my method isn't the best method to doing it, there will spark the idea of let me come up with a better way to do that than what he did.
Hmm.
And then I still succeeded in my goal, which was to cause this to, ripple effect into more people making up more tech for the same purpose. And I feel like, like in the Web 2 space, those antivirus companies, when they discover a new virus, they share that to each other.
Yeah,
They may be in
absolutely.
competition for users, but it's like, hey, I just found this blacklight. If we have like a blacklisted site list of phishing, and we all share that database to each other, now we have that database across multiple discords, and now it becomes something that we can use to protect the community. So we have to work together to stop this from happening. So I don't expect this to be a competing against any other project that's trying to do the same thing. I would encourage them to reach out and let's work together, because we need to tell each other what's happening. And
Yeah.
then whoever discovers the next hack can go to the news about it. But it's just a simple fact that now we all have the protection against it.
Hmm.
So some of this stuff will end up being like open source. Some of it will be open source for the developers. And you kind of want to have it where it's kind of like just for the developers, not open source for the hackers are also developers,
That's
right?
true. Yeah. Hmm.
They're black hat developers. So you leave it open source, they can literally just go in and see how you're being stopped. And
Right.
they're like, oh, all right, I see what he's doing. The same way I can see how the drain wallet bot is draining my wallet, I can see how to stop it.
Hmm.
So it's like it's about as simple as reverse engineering all the bad stuff. But it does become a situation where you want to have this be a little bit proprietary. You do want to have a little bit of secrecy, because how are we going to protect people if the stuff is out there to where everyone can see it?
Right.
But for stuff that you're adding to smart contracts, it has to be open source, because people need to know what they're putting in their contract. It needs to be open Zeppelin even, or it needs to be audited to some degree.
Right.
But I feel like if that becomes a thing, then Open Zeppelin or those devs or like bigger devs will start adding this to everything, and then it'll become something huge. You know what I mean? Where this is like the norm now, to put security in your contract, and that becomes something that we grow as into the Web3 space. Because I don't think we can adopt. I don't think we can grow as a mass adoption until we can make it safer for everyone else to
I agree.
use.
Yep, I agree. Until, like you said before, the soccer mom, the granny, anyone can use it and feel safe enough to, not lose all of their money just because they clicked the wrong link. Until that happens, mass adoption really can't happen.
No, I can't.
So yeah, and developers like you, and even like you said, if someone has a better idea, it pulls it off a little different way, it all comes together and is building the Web3 that we want to see happen.
Exactly.
So I really like that like you said, the open source mindset from back in the Web 2 days, right? When open source was kind of that idea of building it for the technology, building it for the purpose of it was just to advance technology, right? And
Exactly.
let
That was all it was.
everyone do what they can and build what they can because they can.
I
And
like the when Elon Musk did it with for a minute we were all thinking that he came out with this electric car, and then he was gonna beat all of the other car companies because they don't know like how he did the Tesla. And he really was. Like
yeah.
if it was all about just the money grab, then all he had to do was just keep that patented and don't say anything, right? Then he says, "Oh, it's open source. You guys can go ahead and use it. I don't care." And it's like, wow, he just showed him how to make the Teslas all over again. And now he has more competition. But of course, by the time they can build it, he's off into better and bigger things, right?
Right.
But it's just a simple fact that now they're making electric cars every which way.
Hmm.
And now that was what we needed, was someone to come in and stop all these emissions. Not that that's like a solved, like done and over thing, but I'm saying the idea behind the open source was perfect. It was like to let people do that. So it's not a money grab thing. It's more of a definitely trying to make sure that everyone else can also benefit from the technology. Even yet and still, when I made this project, we used the optimized gas contract, right? We used
Yep.
that.
Hmm.
Now I remember before we didn't have an optimized gas contract. We had a contract that was $70 in gas fees every
Right.
single time you did something.
Yep.
Someone else made that open source. Someone put that on GitHub, and I was able to go have access to a contract without having to totally understand how it worked.
Right.
I was able to read the code and then be smarter. Like, oh, I see now how they got the gas to be cheaper, and I see how to make it even cheaper than that because I can go back and do this and do that. So
Hmm.
like when we launched, we had really low gas fees. You know what I mean? Like super low. When anyone mints ours or transfers it, it's 40 cent, it's 20 cent, it's 60 cent, super cheap gas, and or $2 or $3 if it's just 20 gwei or whatever the gwei is. But just being able to like see that we're so early in the Web3 space that we don't even know what we're capable of yet. Like,
Hmm.
right? Like, we don't know. I don't even know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like this could be a long term project that just continues to keep producing tools.
Yeah.
And if it supersedes me, if we have to make a DAO out of it, and then we got too many devs, and everyone loves this thing, and it just gets so big, I can like bow out. You know what I mean? I can kind of back off a little bit. I'm willing to let it become bigger than me.
Yeah.
Bigger than and let it just keep growing and become something humongous. But I just think that we need something like this. There needs to be 10 to 15 more Plethora Moons projects that comes out with Web3 security. We need to have Web3 security hashtag on Twitter. Like we have a Web3 security, but it's not trending.
Yeah.
It's just there. You know what I mean? So I'm like, let's start trending Web3 security and build this thing up and get people to see that that's another cat. If you want to crash grab, go get it from Web3 security. And while you're making money, help people. Don't just make a bunch of dumb pictures and put them out.
I agree
And
100%. Like,
you know what I
how
mean?
many PFPs do people need? Like you put one up, maybe you change it every once in a while, but come on. Like let's do something that really matters with this technology. Completely agree. I really love the idea behind that you have behind it and the thought you put into it. I'm excited to be involved. I'm really grateful to have you on and be able to talk with you. Is there any kind of last things you want as we kind of wrap up here, you want people to know about the project or where they should look, what they should do if they want to be involved, that type of stuff.
Yeah. So right now, just wanted to say last remarks. I just wanted to say like this project is best is for the Web3 professional, and it's also for the Web3 beginner. It's for people who want to be educated in a space prior to getting into it. If they want to jump in, if you're new, if you don't know how to use NFTs, you got a community that's not toxic. We're trying to build a community that will answer questions. You know how we say no question is dumb. There's no dumb question. So that's the kind of community we're trying to build. One where you can ask the dumbest questions, and it's not the dumbest question. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Come in and ask any type of question. We're going to answer. We're going to take our time, and we're going to put together educational material and content as well to just at least explain how these things work and try to break it down. So to find all that, a person could just easily go to plethoramoons.xyz. That's our website. It's at the very top. You could click the button. We got our social media links, your OpenSea, our Discord, our Telegram, our Twitter. We're on Instagram as well. So,
Yeah.
but everything is Plethora Moons. It's kind of hard to right now in this day and age. It's so difficult to get a name that you can have the whole name
Yep, on everything.
without having
Yeah.
to put underscores and all that. So I always say if the brand is meant to be, you get all the names. So definitely just remember Plethora Moons is the end of all the links. So it's fully branded, Twitter, all of them. But yeah, you come there and join the Discord. We got a nice community and can't wait to see you in there.
Awesome. Yeah, they have I've been in the Discord for a while. The Telegram, you have tons of people in your Telegram. I think that's more active than Discord is even right now. So if you
Yeah.
guys do Telegram, check that out. Very cool. So if the people want to get involved, if they want to support your project, where do they go? Is it minting now? Is it still open? Give us the details on that.
Yeah, still minting. We just started our mint a couple days ago. Like I said, there's only 555 of these, and we're minting at zero point zero 0.05 ETH.
Okay.
So you can get them while they're still cheap. And the floor was at like a 2 ETH floor, but it's dropped down to like a zero point 0.5 floor. So grab them while they're still there.
Cool. So head over. It's plethoramoons.xyz. Still
Yep,
minting.
that's where you mint. Yep.
And you heard the alpha before. These we the OG passes with all sorts of little perks and bonuses along the way. So don't miss out. I'm very happy to be involved. Thank you for coming on and sharing this with us. I'm excited to see where it goes, and I'm definitely along for the journey. So I
Thanks
will
a lot, man.
see you there.
All right, appreciate it.